Welcome. Today we examine corruption, bribery, and kleptocracy and their impact on the global financial system. Core idea: these are damaging predicate offenses often embedded within state institutions and political power structures. Why it matters: these crimes enable sophisticated laundering that distorts economies and undermines public trust. Kleptocracy is the systematic theft of state resources by political elites for personal gain. This illicit wealth is frequently laundered through complex corporate structures and luxury assets worldwide. Practical application: watch for patterns of public authority abuse and sudden cross-border asset flight. Compliance teams must also identify the exploitation of legal and financial intermediaries by political elites. Example: scenario: a kleptocratic official using offshore shell companies to purchase multi-million-dollar luxury real estate. Analyzing these laundering typologies is essential for maintaining a resilient AML compliance framework. Welcome back. Today we examine embezzlement, where state assets and budget funds are misused by those entrusted with their care. Core idea: embezzlement involves officials misusing public funds from budgets, state enterprises, or investment projects. Why it matters: these funds are often laundered internationally to evade domestic detection, draining critical public resources. Techniques include utilizing offshore accounts and investing in overseas real estate or luxury assets. Practical application: watch for transactions involving state-owned entities and sudden capital outflows inconsistent with official income. Example scenario: a high-ranking official diverting state budget funds to purchase a luxury villa through an offshore holding company. Stricter monitoring of PEPs and state-owned entities is vital for upholding the integrity of public funds. Welcome back. Today we examine the exploitation of investment migration and citizenship by investment programs by corrupt actors. Core idea: these programs allow for legal residency or citizenship, but are frequently abused to legitimize illegal assets. Why it matters: these schemes help secure safe havens, making it significantly harder for international bodies to enforce asset recovery. Corruption proceeds are often disguised as legitimate capital inflows to meet qualifying investment thresholds. Practical application: financial institutions must thoroughly examine the origin of funds for clients rapidly altering their residency status. Example scenario: a corrupt official using a citizenship by investment scheme to obscure their original identity and shield their wealth. Increased vigilance and thorough status tracking are essential for maintaining the integrity of global financial systems. Welcome back. Today we explore how kleptocrats utilize foreign financial centers to hide and launder their illicit wealth. Core idea: kleptocrats transfer wealth to foreign centers that offer stability, confidentiality, and professional asset protection. Why it matters: these locations grant access to advanced legal and banking services while distancing wealth from political risks. Funds can be moved via private banking, investment portfolios, and trusts to further obscure the original source. Practical application: focus on beneficial ownership transparency and identifying kleptocratic flows as key gatekeepers. Example scenario: a kleptocrat moving state funds into a complex offshore trust within a major international financial hub. International cooperation and asset recovery mechanisms are essential for dismantling these global laundering networks. Welcome back. Today we examine a common tactic in corruption: masking bribe payments as legitimate consulting and service fees. Core idea: bribes are often masked as advisory services or professional costs backed by reports of dubious validity. Why it matters: recording these as operating expenses reduces suspicion and can even allow for illicit tax deductions. Payments are often channeled through offshore entities or intermediaries to further obscure their true purpose. Practical application: focus on high-risk sectors, ambiguous service descriptions, and payments to politically exposed persons. Example scenario: a consulting agreement with excessive fees that lacks any clearly defined deliverables or tangible reports. Rigorous screening of service agreements is vital for detecting these sophisticated corruption-related typologies. Welcome back. Today we examine how large-scale trade and infrastructure initiatives can be misused to channel and launder illicit funds. Core idea: massive projects create opportunities for corruption through inflated costs, subcontracting, and secretive financing arrangements. Why it matters: Mixing illicit funds with legitimate project financing over lengthy timelines makes tracking and detection extremely difficult. These projects frequently involve complex international funding and multiple layers of government and private sector involvement. Practical application. AML mitigation involves rigorous examination of project financing, contractor affiliations, and industry pricing standards. Example scenario: a major public works project where costs are intentionally inflated to generate kickbacks that are then laundered through subcontractors. Vigilant monitoring of large-scale public works is essential for identifying and preventing these complex laundering schemes. Welcome back. Today we examine how trusts, foundations, and private wealth structures can be misused by corrupt officials to hide illicit assets. Core idea: while these are valid estate planning tools, they are often exploited to complicate the link between assets and officials. Why it matters. Discretionary beneficiaries and minimal disclosure requirements for foundations create significant accountability gaps. Funds are moved through complex trusts and international foundations that offer high levels of confidentiality. Practical application. AML standards mandate identifying all parties, including settlers, trustees, protectors, and beneficiaries. Example scenario: a wealth vehicle that lacks a clear purpose and transparency, designed solely to shield assets from scrutiny. Enhanced due diligence for PEP-related trusts is essential for identifying hidden kleptocratic wealth. Welcome back. Today we explore how public procurement and state contracts can be misused to generate and launder illicit profits. Core idea: high-value contracts and discretionary decisions make public procurement particularly susceptible to corruption. Why it matters. Criminals exploit these systems to gain inflated contracts, resulting in vast illicit profits. Funds are laundered through shell companies, offshore accounts, or opaque subcontracting with related parties. Practical application: monitor for prices that deviate from market norms and subcontracting chains that lack transparency. Example scenario: ongoing value extraction, facilitated by systematic overbilling and the use of false invoicing. Enhanced due diligence is essential for any entity engaged in public sector business to maintain integrity. Welcome back. Today we examine how political exposure and the abuse of power networks are used to facilitate money laundering. Core idea: corruption-related laundering often depends on networks of politically exposed persons, family members, and close associates. Why it matters. These networks grant access to global financial systems while helping to obscure accountability for illicit funds. Transactions are often arranged via relatives or trusted proxies to prevent direct links to public officials. Practical application: AML frameworks require increased due diligence for PEPs, including verifying their sources of wealth. Example scenario: major international enforcement actions have often resulted from neglecting PEP risk management and associate monitoring. Maintaining continuous monitoring and robust PEP risk management is vital for global financial integrity. Welcome back. Today we examine how shell companies and intricate ownership structures are used to conceal the source and ownership of illicit funds. Core idea: shell companies lacking genuine economic activity are set up in secrecy jurisdictions to obscure the audit trail. Why it matters. Complex ownership structures across multiple countries aim to hinder the identification of beneficial owners. Nominees and multiple entity layers add further obscurity, making it difficult to trace the actual control of funds. Practical application: financial institutions must verify beneficial ownership and identify red flags like excessive complexity or circular ownership. Example scenario: a structure where funds move between multiple shell companies in a circle, serving no clear commercial purpose other than obscurity. Maintaining high standards for transparency and beneficial ownership verification is critical for dismantling these opaque structures. Welcome back. Today we analyze strategic asset transfer, where the goal is the sustained conservation of illicit wealth over the long term. Core idea: the primary goal is long-term preservation, with wealth distributed across various jurisdictions, asset types, and generations. Why it matters. This strategy focuses on stability and legal safeguards, making illicit wealth significantly more durable and harder to trace. This strategy may involve global real estate, fine art collections, and private equity investments linked through offshore accounts. Practical application. AML frameworks emphasize ongoing monitoring and frequent reassessment of high-risk clients' sources of wealth. Example scenario: a kleptocratic family distributing illicit wealth across 3 generations through a complex web of trusts and global holdings. International cooperation is essential for identifying these long-term preservation patterns and maintaining financial integrity.
Thank you for watching this lesson. If you found it helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more AML and compliance training. If you would like to earn an anti-money laundering certificate, please visit www.necacademy.ca. The first course is free and eligible for certification. I'll see you in the next lesson.